Welcome to Game 1 of the NA Finals of the Star-Crossed Cup. This is going to be Honey Nuts and it's Dusty, representing Team Rainbow Hamlet, as the allies on the west of Samoski Winter, up against Lemon and Disillusion playing as mixed axis in the east. Honey Nuts and it's Dusty are in the losers bracket, which means that they must win this best of 3 and then win another best of 3 in order to move on to the championship. Whereas Lemon and Disillusion are in the winners bracket, so if they win this best of 3, they will be moving on, and it's Dusty and Honey Nuts will be eliminated. And this is the very first game between these two teams, so Honey Nuts and Dusty are going to be fighting tooth and nail, and already it seems that Honey Nuts really didn't want them to know his tech because he canceled his buildings like 4 times over here, just to be extra confusing, in case they were watching. Honey Nuts moving his combat engineers up to the strategic point over here, Dusty moving his combat engineers that way. We have conscripts from Dusty, more conscripts from Honey Nuts, and we have tier 2 going into a Maxim from Honey Nuts, and Dusty going with Penal Battalion first, possibly into a scout car. So pretty familiar stuff from them that we have seen before. Meanwhile, over on the Axis side of things, we have Lemon moving up over here with his supply half-track, as well as Grenadiers, or Folks Grenadiers and Stern Pioneers taking up positions in cover, so going hard for the middle. Meanwhile, his teammate, Disillusion, has opened up with a pure Grenadier start, and wow, look at how early that battle group headquarters is going up. I think that might be Lemon's third purchase? His third purchase. He has a Koopa Wagon. So he's getting that very early, and I think we're going to see Lemon's Fortifications Doctrine play here. He tends to get 2 MG34s immediately, not immediately, but as soon as he can, as soon as he hits one command point, using the Koopa Wagon to tide him over until then. And I've seen him place his truck here before, and I've seen it work. And I don't know if it's going to work that well against double Soviets. I made a comment in a very recent game of this tournament that placing your truck here is almost certain death. Placing it here works a little bit better because you're not like getting stuck in deep snow everywhere over here. You have this nice line of sight blocker on the bush. I feel like this positioning works a little better, but it still suffers the same weakness against double Soviets of being very vulnerable to indirect fire. So we're gonna see if that works out for Lemon. We'll see if he can make it work. But I don't know. Grenadiers moving up and grabbing the strategic point here. More Grenadiers taking up a position in this church. And the allies are kind of circling around toward the north, looking for opportunities with the scout car. Dusty's penal battalions inside are probably, upgrading with the flamethrower now. Disillusion repositioning out of the church. Guess he's happy with the information he gained from doing that. He's just going to take up a position in this cover, defend the Koopa Wagon's flank. Meanwhile, the Axis have a pretty decent hold on the south, doing some harassment, backcapping. Battle lines are pretty clearly drawn here between the north and south halves of this map. Honey Nuts Dusty sending one wounded conscript squad down there. I'm not even sure they'll win that engagement. They're heavily wounded. Dusty going in hard on these Folks Grenadiers. There are Grenadiers here to defend low. And Lemon does not have a retreat point set up, but Dusty's not going to chase because those Grenadiers are going to Faust him if he tries it. So he gets a few free kills there, but nothing too catastrophic. And there's a pretty serious blob right here, and Lemon's MG34s have made it to the field. He has chosen Fortifications Doctrine. Or no, he has not. Excuse me. He went with Luftwaffe. Okay, so I stand corrected. He's going to be trying Fallschirmjäger instead. Interesting. Dusty catches that. Ooh. I felt like he probably could have finished that Koopa Wagon off, but he broke away, not wanting to get too close. And he's actually going to circle around the south and take some territory. Meanwhile, he continues to push with his teammate here in the center. Maxim doing what it can. Oh! Sustained mortar fire. 2 mortars, in fact, from Disillusion. Look at that. They really are going to shut down any attempt to camp green cover or buildings here. I think that's a good call because usually you see a lot of machine guns getting purchased on this map, but they're not necessarily all that effective because of how many buildings and green cover there are in the area. Oh, Dusty circling back around here with his M3. Very nice push. He perfectly finds that opening with no Grenadiers to defend and finishes it off before Lemon's Stern Pioneers could get it repaired, although he is still going to be able to salvage it here for that 5 fuel boost. Meanwhile, Lemon's MG34 laying down some suppression on those flamethrowers. Some counter-harassment finally over here, grabbing that territory back. Also counter-harassment over here. Dusty grabbing this territory back. Penal's moving up to... Ooh, they're going to definitely win against those Grenadiers. He was trying to get in for a Faust, but Dusty just... Oh, geez. Dusty microed out of the way perfectly. Out of range. And he almost punished him so hard. Scout car looks like it wants to chase. He really wants to wipe that squad. And he just can't do it. Just can't get into a good position. What a shame.
Heavy fortification now available.
Combat engineers being forced to retreat again over here. This defensive position, of course, is going to be virtually impossible to crack. That being said, the Allies are making a good effort on capturing areas of the map that are not well defended. The Axis, of course, super concentrated in this zone. I also don't know if Dusty's Penal Battalion's going to get away here. He's getting chased by a 222 as well. Oh, but he has some screening conscripts here. If he has these tank grenades, which he does not, he's been able to slow it, but it looks like he opted not to chase just in case he did. So even just the act of having those conscripts there probably maybe saved his Penal Battalion's life. It could have been difficult to maneuver across the ice anyway. Shock troops hitting the field from Dusty, which means it's gone shock motor. Usually see mechanized support, but shock motor is certainly not terrible either. Especially on this map, shock troops can do quite nicely. But a pretty nice mortar hit them on approach and they're going to be forced away. Meanwhile, Dusty continuing to look for opportunities with his scout car. He once again finds some Over Commando West infantry without Grenadier support, so he will not have to worry too much about Fausts, but the Schwer Panzer HQ is about to complete here. And I'm not sure he's going to maneuver clear of that soon enough. There are some trees blocking shots, fortunately. Looks like he will get clear just in time. Pops overdrive to give him an acceleration boost. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, because I'm not sure what he's doing. And there he goes. Okay.
Enemy vehicle detection can be utilized. Taking small arms fire.
Ooh. Looks like we have some counter mortar fire over here. Dusty actually setting his heavy mortar up in green cover. Which I think gives it protection against enemy explosives. So it will actually give us some protection against counter barrages from the enemy mortars. So interesting tactic there. I haven't actually seen that before, surprisingly enough. Dusty not getting any traction with his shock troops though. Getting grenaded and mortared on approach quite a lot. It's making things difficult for him. Nice flank by Honeynuts' conscripts there, though, catching the 222 with an AT grenade. It's going to be forced to reposition. We also have the heavy mortar already back, firing once again on this clumped Axis infantry. The conscripts continue to provide line of sight, and they're not really moving. Oh, that was a pretty good one. Almost wiping a Stern Pioneer squad. And if we take a look, yeah, Lemon doesn't have a forward retreat point here, so he is making only soft retreats, which can be dangerous. I don't think he's lost any full squads yet, but not being able to retreat certainly has an effect. Ooh. That was a nice grenade from those shock troops, wiping out that squad. Somehow they've managed to dodge all the mortar fire this time. They may actually get a little bit of veterancy on this push. Those grenadiers are closing in a little too close to those shock troops, I think. Ooh, but a nice grenade finally connects, and they're going to be forced to retreat once again. Penal battalion's also being forced away. But like I said before, this strategy is quite vulnerable to indirect fire, and the Soviet heavy mortar is already up to 7 kills after like just a handful of barrages. And Honeynuts is bringing in a second one, and that does mean that Honeynuts' guard motor coordination is probably going to... Oh, that was a nice one. One Shrek squad wiped by the by the shock troops on the follow-up to that mortar. That was devastating. 11 kills now. I really think that the heavy mortar is the best possible decision against this. As long as they can keep it supported, as long as they can keep pushing with infantry to provide line of sight, they don't get bled too much on their pushes, the heavy mortars are going to be critical to this strategy. What was that aimed at? That was a terrible rifle grenade. I think he must have misclicked there, because that did like literally 0 damage to anything. Weird. Honeynuts conscripts are moving up. We'll also note that Dusty's done great with harassment. He's been very on point about keeping even the strategic point adjacent to their base out of Ax's hands. And that just goes to show how incredibly clustered they are right here. Not making much of any attempt at counter-harassment, really. One Grenadier squad being dedicated up there, but it's not much. Demo charge also going down on the point in addition to mines, so Dusty really wants to punish any attempt to retake this territory, although I believe this fuel is going to fall out of their hands soon. A few flamethrowers in the area to counter. Heavy mortars continue to barrage the area. If they can get in range of the battle group headquarters itself, ooh, which it looks like they have, it'll slowly start to get drained, and any attempts to repair it will be very dangerous. Looks is hitting the field low, and that's going to be potentially a good solution to these heavy mortars, but he does need to be aware of anti-tank grenades, and we will note that the Allies have no anti-tank whatsoever. Honeynuts is cooking a field gun now. Dusty doesn't even have tier 2, so it's going to be one field gun, and that's pretty much it for AT. And there's no higher tech units either anywhere. That heavy mortar barely gets away with a sliver. So that is a bit of a flaw in this strategy here. They've left themselves quite vulnerable to that looks rush. Fortunately, that heavy mortar made it away with just one man. And the field gun will be moving up now. That house goes down. This mortar's also taking heavy damage. The Looks is continuing to just wreak havoc over here, though. 10 kills now, and it's still pretty much, like, unpunished. Field gun is slowly moving up. The Looks is actually going to reposition on these combat engineers and conscripts. Looks like Honeynuts is going to oorah in for an AT grenade, which he will get off. In fact, he probably had to AT grenade just to avoid getting wiped on retreat. Will just barely make it away. Shock troops moving up, forcing away some grenadiers. Penal battalion's also moving up there in a pretty damaged building, though. I might want to consider being careful there, although only one Axis mortar currently remains. And the Soviet mortar fire continues. Now that Looks has been sort of pushed away, although I think Honeynuts might be overextending his field gun a little bit here. If he were to hand that over to the Axis, that would be a pretty big problem, considering it's their only AT right now. Penal's continuing to get barraged. There they go.
Okay, that's the last one. Standing by. Waiting command. Armor down is firing on us. 2-2-2
continuing to harass over here. Man, those heavy mortars are just destroying everything as far as ambient buildings. Lemon is trying to push here with his Volksgrenadiers, but that's probably not going to be able to stand up to shock troops. Yeah, there he goes. Ooh, those are really wounded too. Like, the next barrage on his battle group headquarters could be really bad. This one already has 21 kills and precision strike. This one has 9 kills. I'm almost surprised that Honeynuts isn't using precision strike more, but I guess he doesn't really feel the need. If he did, though, he could like easily clear this, clear that. Just bleed their man for like 4 free kills, wipe the veterancy out on a mortar. I think it would be pretty worth it. Oh, there it goes. I think that was just auto fire, in fact. So, there you have it. Disillusion trying to push for the fuel over here. We also have a fuel cache going up there, although there's a demo charge sitting right on top of it. Maybe Dusty just hasn't seen that. Yeah, I think he just doesn't know that he could, like, or that Dusty could just blow that up. Meanwhile, another demo charge went off over here. I think that, like, just happened. I missed it. Might have gotten a full squad there. P4 hitting the field. And again, the Allies have a pretty light anti-tank presence. There's a field gun and anti-tank grenades. It's not much.
Target vehicle marking available.
Ooh.
Anti-tank gun is ready for action.
Okay, come on, retreat. He's stuck on this crawling guy, yeah. I guess that's a bug. Oh geez, those heavy mortars are just killing everything. Almost 50 kills between, or 42, yeah, 42 kills between them already at the 17-minute mark. That's probably more than I've ever even seen dual snipers accomplish. The Axis are just not able to do anything about it. I don't know if the Axis are going to be able to keep up with this level of bleed. I'm actually almost kind of surprised that Honeynuts hasn't just been bombing the HQ. Oh, HQ building itself. Maybe he has, I don't know. I guess clearing out the enemy mortars is more important, which he's been doing repeatedly. Field gun doing what it can against that Lux, though. The Lux itself is actually up to 22 kills as well. Still, reinforcing Stern Pioneers and trying to repair at the same time is so expensive. Just dropping models on this squad constantly isn't something you can really afford.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
And Honeynuts is already up to 9 command points. If we take a look at Dusty, he's up at, actually he's up even higher. He must be doing really well with his shock troops and such. Or something, I don't know how he's up so high. Honeynuts has double his damage and like 20 more kills. So I don't know how Dusty is so much higher. Maybe he blew up a vehicle or something and got like a big chunk of XP. I don't think so. Maybe he's just taking a ton of losses. Can't see, oh yeah. Well, no, they've taken pretty much the same losses. I don't know how Dusty has that CP lead on Honeynuts. Hasn't built any more buildings than him. Weird.
T-34-85 tanks are now ready for use.
But Honeynuts now has access to T-34-85s, and he's going to be calling those in quite soon. He has the pop cap. He has literally the exact pop cap he needs right now to call that in and bring himself to 100. In fact, he's the one doing best for pop cap out of everyone. Ooh, but I think he made a bit of a misjudgment here. Got way too close to that Schwer Panzer HQ, and his AT gun gets cleared. That's a shame. But the heavy mortars have actually managed to finish off the battle group headquarters, and now they're just going crazy on this blob.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
HE barrage going off, heavy mortars continuing to fire. Lux is just too timid to go in with that AT gun there, and conscripts generally in range to snare it. Not much it can do on its own. Panzer IV similarly pretty timid. There are 2 field guns there now. They probably could have gone in hard and like inflicted massive casualties, especially with 222 supporting, when they had cleared out the 2nd field gun. Because there's not that much, like there's a handful of conscripts, but I think they could have won. But now it's too late. Now it is definitely too late. And I think Honey Nuts is gonna go just kill everything with these. There's not much that can stop him from killing a Lux at 222. As long as he can avoid getting Fausted. One-shots the 222 instantly. Now he's going to circle around towards these overextended squads. Oh, nope. He's actually going to support here in the middle. Panzer IV actually got hit by both field guns there, I think. He's taken a lot of damage. Heavy mortars also firing. And Lemon actually went with a mechanized regiment HQ here, so I think he might be going straight for King Tiger. Oh no, he went for a Stuka. Interesting. So he went Lux into Schwer HQ purely for the turret and Obers actually, and then back text to mechanized regiment HQ for a Stuka, which I think is actually a really good decision against these heavy mortars, especially if he can maybe sink them in the ice or something. But they are in green cover, so that might actually mitigate some of the damage from this barrage. I guess we'll see. At the point when they're about to get cleared, they had 18 and 42 kills. Oh, jeez. Yeah, this one in green cover survived the barrage. So that was the, that's what's up with that green sandbag position, but I think that one got completely destroyed in the ice. That's this gun only just barely survived as well. Meanwhile, this AT gun is kind of trying to be sneaky and almost like take out the Schwer Panzer HQ. I'm surprised it didn't do that earlier. Honey Nuts made an attempt, but it got way too close. It didn't exactly work out well. And Dusty's ISU 152 is already on the field, and the Axis are just so not ready for this. Terrain variations probably going to make it hard to hit anything though without getting a little closer. Ooh, that was a nasty shot. He probably has a line on the mechanized regiment HQ. He can probably just keep blasting it from where he is now. And it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do, and the Axis have no way of preventing him from doing this.
Enemy attacking!
And Lemon did not go breakthrough tactics. It's actually quite unusual to see Luftwaffe in this tournament, and I'm happy to see it, but it certainly isn't working. Not that I think a Jagdtiger would save them from the situation they're in right now, because it probably wouldn't if any previous games have been any indication. I think the fact is you really can't build a battle group headquarters in such a forward position against double Soviets. It's just too risky.
Enemy flanking us!
If we take a look at Disillusion, he's gone Jaeger armor. So I think they were actually expecting a B4. But the Allies did not go counterattack. Second Stuka barrage does manage to almost clear the mortar, but it can actually survive. The heavy mortar can actually survive with just one man. Because he just put... Apparently that's Jesus. He just walked on water. Jesus is manning that mortar. He just ran across that. He just walked on water and ran across that. That's hilarious. And the ISU is actually not doing that much. It has 6 kills, which I mean, yeah, it's being an ISU. And there is a second one on the way, but I think the Allies were going to win this. I think the Allies could have won this without the ISU, to be honest. Easily. Those heavy mortars were really the heavy hitters this game.
Enemy has destroyed an anti-tank gun.
Ooh, Ooh, I think that squad just got wiped by a mortar shot. Yeah, it did. A stolen Axis mortar, no less. Ooh, Stuka bomb run coming in on these tanks, I guess. Yeah, it didn't hit anything. And now that the battle group headquarters is destroyed, the Axis strength in this position is just so diminished. They can no longer reinforce in the field, so it's tough. We will see the T-34s clearing out some overextended squads over here. Looks like more demo charges have been going off in this area as well. There's just body parts everywhere, and I wish I had been catching those. And this one is not been detonated yet. I guess the T-34s destroyed the fuel cache. I've been missing a lot of the action in the north, sadly. ISU getting pretty bold here. Oh, okay, that was a pretty nasty shot. Ouch. And it's good to see some actual aggression with the ISU. Too many games just drag on and on because the Allies being so careful with this ISU when it's really just not necessary. Oh, that was weird though. I wonder why he retreated those conscripts. He could have snared him with a anti-tank grenade. ISU is pretty exposed now. Ooh, he came dangerously close to sinking there. And a massive parade of T-34s is on its way to save the day, but the ISU actually gets abandoned. And all these infantry are going to have to probably run away. The Lux is also pretty much screwed. Lemon kind of sticking around desperately trying to finish it off. He does get it with Panzerschreck, but he may lose a little too much to recover from. His Lux goes down. His Volksgrenadiers go down. I think that may leave him with no more Shrek squads at all. And there's an elephant on the field, but Honey Nuts is just swarming it with medium tanks. It has no chance of surviving this at all. It's marked. And there it goes. And I'm pretty sure that's GG. There's no coming back from this.
Anti-tank battery is ready for them. Flanking attack! Taking fire! Disengage! Get to us! Protect the flank! Mechanized regimental HQ has been destroyed. A mobile command vehicle has been dispatched. Enemy flanking us!
I mean, that's just diving into the enemy base.
Enemy movement! On the flank! An anti-tank gun has taken the field.
He does get forced away, though. He does get forced away. I think this mortar has actually survived the entire game, and it has 45 kills. The other one had 18 when it got sunk by this Duca. By comparison, oh, I can't check Dusty's ISU because it's dead. The second ISU has 7. I think Dusty's other one had like 13. It hasn't had that catastrophic of an impact, honestly.
Behind the shield! Stay Combat down. Promotion! The shield promotion! Flanking attack!
The Axis are making a push, but I mean, I don't know what they're going to be able to do here.
Get to march! Protect the flank! Combatancy gate! Enemy movement! On the enemy armor! Adjust fire! Enemy flanking us! A gun crew has been lost.
Yeah, that's gonna be it. There you have it. Lemon and Dissolution surrender. So Dusty and Honey Nuts not looking like they want to get eliminated just yet from this tournament. That's for sure. Good game. 30 minutes, 30 solid minutes of pretty much just pure Soviet domination. Those heavy mortars particularly were the real killers, I think. And it was actually interesting to see a Soviet strategy on this map that did not seem to really involve snipers. One sniper produced 10 kills, and it was produced quite late. So that was fun to see. A little bit different, actually, from the kind of standard stuff. A little different. Not that different, but a little different. No Yag Tiger either. So that's the end of Game 1, and we'll be right back with Game 2.